Hi guys, I'm Ayushi, your legal career mentor, and welcome to Law Digest. This is the second part of the video in our series called The Legal Practice, where we will have Amit sir with us, who is the managing partner of MCO Legals and my former employer. In the video before this, we've already discussed, we've taken an overview कि अगर हमको actually में legal practice करनी है, then what are the things that we need to keep in mind? How does it actually function? What are the kind of practices? What skill set do we need to have? In today's video, we are going to understand the importance of the first meeting with the client, having the documents from him, organizing those documents, preparing a file. So basically, how to prepare that brief. That will be our object of this video. And we have again with us Amit sir. So let's welcome him. Good evening, sir. Welcome back to the channel. And
Good evening, Ayushi.
yes, sir. So today's endeavor of our session will be to understand from you that when, as a lawyer, you receive a client is coming up to you and you've got a case, how to then proceed further, what will be the steps. Slowly, we will discuss about certain things that I've jotted down, and I'm going to ask you about those, that how do we go about each and everything. Now, starting with the first thing, you've got a case, the client comes to you. Now, how to receive that brief from the client, how to understand from him what is the case all about, and what will be the first meeting, how will it actually look like?
Yeah, thanks, Ayushi. Actually, the first meeting with the client is the most important meeting
Hmm,
because the first impression is always the last impression.
hmm,
So, definitely, if you're a fresher, you will be guided with a senior along
hmm,
because the law firm will not ask you to just go and meet it. For you, for a fresher or your audience, it will be more of a to engage how the senior is dealing with the client. This
hmm,
is basic. Now,
hmm,
when the client first comes, first thumb rule is that you need to be a very good listener.
hmm,
We have a habit then one person is speaking, we just intervene and start talking, or to try to show that we know.
hmm, hmm,
You cannot know the facts of the client until you listen to the client. So let the client say, client is the creator of the facts. And everything in law is facts, nothing else. A case 95% depends on its facts, whether it is a litigation or a non-litigation law. Suppose there is a commercial transaction, in the sense they are entering into a transaction of sale or purchase of goods. You need to listen to the client and to get all the facts from the client as to how he came to know the other party, how he entered into negotiation, what communications were exchanged between them, to understand what is his core intention. If the client could make the document or to can litigate on its own, he won't be coming to a lawyer. We are a specialized. So we need to be a very good listener. So in the
hmm,
first meeting, be a good listener, make small notes, keep a very direct eye contact with your client. Don't feel shy. Keep nodding. And if a client asks suddenly a question to you that, Miss Ayushi, can you please tell me what is the law in this situation? Generally, till date also I do that. Please let me go through the entire facts. Don't answer impromptu at the same time because you don't know the facts.
right.
Every case advice will depend on the facts of that particular case.
Yeah.
So please first become a master of the facts, then only reply. So you always say, yes, sir, I'll get back to you tomorrow or something. Let me just go through the papers. So this is the basic thumb rule when you meet the client for the first time, Ayushi.
Hmm. Okay, sir. So now, like we have the client already there, and as you said, very rightly said, rather, ki it's important that we do not answer in one go because we don't know the facts. We have to extract facts. Now, these are the
Yes.
oral facts that we were speaking about. Moving on to the documentation bit of it, because every case involves a lot of documents. It depends from case to case. There are bulky documents in some cases. So, how to receive those documents, and does the client actually know what documents to give, or do we have to like guide him through it?
Hmm. This is next step, which is the most crucial documents. What happens? Client will always say that these are the relevant documents. I'm giving you copies of this. Don't go back. They cannot appreciate what are relevant and what are irrelevant. To understand what are relevant documents, you need to understand what are the irrelevant. So you need the totality. So when client gives a document, he may give you hard copies of those documents when you're sitting with him or her across the table. Or in technology day, he may send you by email. Or if he doesn't have that technological backup or anything, you can request them to send it by courier also. You should always ask them to send the entire document, whatever they. Now, one caution in the documents, normally in the civil cases or corporate work cases, is that we issue a lot of emails. You reply, I acknowledge it. I acknowledge, you again reply, and the trail keeps on going. The trail keeps on changing also.
Yes.
Sometimes we maintain the trail email, sometimes we don't maintain the trail.
Hmm.
Next, an email on a single day, there may be 10 emails. So you need to understand which fact occurred before the other email. So these are very dangerous things. Email discovery or email
Hmm.
documentation has become a big headache. So
Hmm.
what we do when we get the documents from the client, the emails and everything, each email we break it up date-wise on a single piece of paper, edit to PDF. You have to do it. This is your job to understand. And then arrange those correspondences date-wise, time-wise, issued at 13:22 hours, issued at
Hmm.
14:30. Then only you can understand the creator's intention behind writing each of those documents. So
Hmm.
this is how you should receive documents. Once you receive the documents, please arrange it date-wise. It's up to you how you arrange, but I prefer date old to new.
Hmm.
If the documents are very voluminous, after arranging the documents, you might like to break it up into category, all
Hmm.
emails in one file,
Hmm.
all agreements in another file, or
Hmm.
any court proceedings in another file.
Hmm.
Once documents are organized, then you have to make an index of those documents.
Hmm.
Not that you're making a list of dates. I'll
Hmm.
come to that a bit later. You have to make an index in the sense that email from Amit to Ayushi,
Hmm.
email from Ayushi to Amit, agreement between Ayushi. So what documents are there in the file?
Hmm.
So you must have an index. Once a basic index is made, send it to the client.
Hmm.
Ask the client, do we have all the documents? And if yes, please confirm. If no, give all other documents which are not mentioned in it. This is how you try building the confidence with the client and also to show to the client that yes, I really want to understand your case.
Understand the
If
case.
client
Yes.
knew the solution, he wouldn't be before.
Right.
So this is one stage. And
Yes.
another is that once the documents are arranged, then you go into the next step. So
Next.
document arranging and indexing it is very important.
Very important. And yeah,
Yeah.
maybe we can just flag it also at that time.
Yeah, you can always, yes.
Yes.
Because once
So
the index is there, you can keep on flagging it, like
yes,
that.
yes, yes. Then moving forward, sir, we have the index ready. We've asked the client for more documents. Now, as we know, the next step is drafting the list of dates. Now,
Yes.
what exactly is list of dates and how it is to be made? Because students will be fairly new to the concept of list of dates. We keep speaking it colloquially while practicing, but for the students, let's simplify that. How does list of date actually look like?
The list of dates is just that, is basically arranging the file. Once the documents are arranged, you need to understand what are the documents about. So list of dates is not about copy pasting the contents of the document.
Hmm.
No doubt list of dates will come with experience, with more you do the fact. But what should be the intention is to pick up the relevant fact. Say I write an email and the email contains how are you doing and blah blah blah. See you soon. But in the middle I say I have not received your document which I had sent. You had sent me yesterday. So that is a crux fact in that email. So your
Hmm.
list of dates will be email issued by Amit to Ayushi confirming the documents not received. Not about how you are or I will see you in the evening. Those are. So those come. So you have to make the list of dates of each and every document and just put it on the list of dates. Once you start writing the list of dates, you will see after writing that you are remembering the facts.
Facts,
Because
yes.
once you write, you remember.
Understand.
And
Yeah.
to write, you have to read the document. The documents
Yes.
don't lie. It's within the four corners of that piece of paper. So
Yes.
read the document and put it on the list of dates. In case of a bulky document, say an agreement is there, which is running into 40 pages. You're not expected to write the entire thing. So there you will say party, first party is this, second party is this. Money consideration is this much. Relevant clauses A, B, C, D. Arbitration clause 72. Like that in the index. List of days. You have to go to the document, but list of days
Yes.
should give you a synopsis of it. Once you
Yes.
make the first draft, send it to your, ask them whether it is okay or whether I have missed any facts,
Hmm.
and force them to give a comment on it. They will say it is okay. And you see, you'll actually see once you start doing documents and list of this, you will understand that the client will start feeling at a point that you know the facts better than the client.
Yes.
And that is when you will have the control of the case.
Definitely, sir. Sir, I was just recalling this that during my internships, what was happening was that you are given those documents and you just make the list of dates. But something that I learned at ENCO was that when you have that document in hand, you have the date of that document, you put that document in the date column and you give the particulars. But sometimes what happens is that these documents have further dates inside them. So
Yes,
those dates also become important that you taught us कि उस date का भी हमारे पास we have to see that we have a document or not. If that is not there, when then we send it to the client that you provide us the
yes,
document for this particular date as mentioned.
yeah.
So that was
Yeah,
something
you're
that I
right.
was
Because,
recalling.
no, no, that is one of the most important thing when you make the list of dates. So when you're
Yes,
making list of dates, the letter may mention another 10 letters which were exchanged between the parties. Then
yes,
immediately you should stop there and see whether those previous 10 letters are there. A letter will not mention a future letter. So when
yes,
you're making a list of dates of say 1st January 23 and it mentions 10 letters, then those 10 letters must be prior to 1st January 23. If it is
yes,
prior to, you must have gone through them or
yes,
you must have had it. If you don't
yes,
have it, it is your duty to get those letters
yes,
from the client. Otherwise,
yes,
this 1st January 23 letter has got no relevance. All letters have to be written together. You're
correct.
absolutely right. You're
Yes,
absolutely right. That is efficient finding the facts,
fantastic.
discovering the facts.
Yes,
And that is very crucial.
yes, sir. Sir, now that we have the list of dates ready, because sometimes, as I remember, those MTNL matters that we were doing, and the list of
Yes.
date only was running into 300, 400 pages. So sometimes it also becomes difficult to remember all the facts, what's important, then how to, like, get a snapshot from this LOD and come to what facts are actually important for us.
What happens once you make the list of dates? By default, you will see that any fresher, any one of your students and everyone, they will automatically read the documents again. And they will
Hmm.
find that my list of dates needs refinement. When you hear the story, or when you go and watch a movie of 3 hours, when you come out, you talk about few scenes which were very good, or which were the tagline of
Highlight.
those movies which made the
Yes.
movie great. Similarly, when you read the entire list of data and fact, you will understand what are the core issues on your own.
Hmm.
It's common sense. Law is common sense made complicated. So you will understand, and then you will enter into discussion with your client. क्या हुआ था, कैसे हुआ था, why it happened, what happened after this, what is it, and what is the main concern?
Hmm.
What do you want? And then
Hmm.
you will start, the facts will start, you will automatically, or with the assistance of your senior, start eliminating irrelevant facts.
Irrelevant.
So what we do, we make a master list of dates, like you said in MTNL, 100 pages, 200 pages, which has the entire uh, history. Then we make short list of dates.
Hmm.
Short list of dates say on the concern of breach of contract on the ground of performance.
Hmm.
Performance means Ayushi did not perform. So I have to look into the correspondence, the contract where there is a complaint of performance, what justification Ayushi gives. Get those dates separately. Then say there is a dispute or some concern that Ayushi did not give a bank guarantee.
Hmm.
Then I have to look for the facts which are dealing with bank guarantee.
Hmm.
Then I segregate that, make another list of dates dealing with bank guarantee.
Hmm.
Similarly, issue wise, then you start picking. So you have your mother set, you
Hmm.
start making subsets, and then you get control of these facts. And once facts are in control, 95% of the case is under you. So
Yes.
it is very important to identify the core issue, which will come with experience, but it is possible. And two, you should have regular interaction with your client on facts and get all the facts, missing links, put it in a paper, list of dates, then segregate list of the issue wise. Because when a suit hearing happens in a court, when the suit is filed, then if summons are issued, parties enter into appearance, pleadings are done, plaint is filed, written statement is filed, rejoinder. Once pleadings are done, the court sits and frames the issues. Where issues like whether suit is maintained,
Yes, that
whether
was
the
my
suit
next
is within
question.
limitation, whether Ayushi has breached the contract, whether Amit Meharia is entitled to be compensated. If Amit Meharia is entitled to be compensated, what should be the quantum? Can
Yes.
Amit Meharia claim? So you see, there are 7, 8 issues of claim. Those are the core issues of the case.
Four issues.
So you have to anticipate, but then suddenly you'll see the facts will start. So in MTNL's case, you might have ended up just working on a 20, 30 page list of dates at the end when you had
Agree.
initially made 200 pages list of dates. But
Yes.
everyone should appreciate that you cannot come to a 20-page list of dates until and unless you've made 200 pages.
Yes. Yes.
There is no
Definitely.
shortcut to hard work.
Yes, sir.
There is no shortcut. We love shortcut nowadays, but it's not possible. I think,
Yes.
yeah.
So,
Over to
so
you.
I think we are concluding on the fact that once your list of dates are ready, your master list of dates is there, then your specific list of date is there. Then during that time only you will be able to actually, because this was my next question, but I think it has become clear from already what you said that usi mein se when you're reading those facts, you will come to this clarity what will be your issues now. And these
Yes.
are the issues that we will be actually researching upon. And
Yeah.
we'll be dealing with those things, research and drafting in the
Absolutely.
next set of our videos.
Yeah.
And I think, sir, it gives a lot of clarity as to how to go about that whole journey of documentation. From this video, I hope students are able to understand, as you
Yeah.
very clearly explained this, that it's a
Mm.
whole chain that follows, that you're meeting the client, you're taking the documents, you're listening to the client, you're making your own notes, then you're drafting list of dates, उसमें से भी आप main list of dates निकाल रहे हो, you're asking the clients for the documents. So this is a whole procedure in itself. We give importance
Yeah.
to drafting and filing and arguing, but I think this
No,
documentation is also very
nowadays your students in the interns I see in Supreme Court and Delhi High Court when
yes,
I go to Supreme Court or Delhi High Court, see the student they're standing. They're not talking about cases. They're just talking about ratios of the judgment, as if
yes,
But they are losing the track. How important is the fact?
yes,
If you
sir,
don't know the fact, you cannot, and if you cannot draft, you are not a lawyer.
yes, sir,
Because I've seen qualified LLB graduates after exam centers, they come for trainee internship and all those things,
yes, sir,
trainee associate. They can't write a simple letter, 5-line letter to the client.
yes, sir. I also
Because
remember. Yeah.
thought process to put it on paper is not a joke.
Yes,
We are not
definitely.
sitting in a cafe and having a coffee and chatting. It's a writing. You have to write something which you
Yes,
want to write, and you want to write in such a way so that the third party understands what you want to communicate. So
yes,
your writing should end what the third party will read.
yes, sir.
So sometimes we just keep write and we send it, but we don't try to appreciate what the third party will read when he's reading those. That
Yeah,
is
it
the
should
so.
actually make sense.
हाँ नहीं तो तुम communicate क्या करोगे तुम बोलना
हाँ,
चाहते हो I want to do this third party will read she doesn't know what she wants to do.
हाँ, हाँ.
So you need that art of communication, and art of communication will only come if you know how to write.
Yes,
Because
sir.
writing will allow you to control your mind, your thought process, and to put it in 10 words in one sentence, and then you can speak. So I think you should definitely, this is the first thumb rule, Ayushi.
Yes, sir. So the same thing as you mentioned about the importance of communication, it reminded me that at MCO, drafting email is also an art, and
Art, absolutely.
I have taken a session on it before also on YouTube. That teaching interns that drafting emails is also important. And I so remember that sometimes we used to send such long emails to the clients, and we used to get it approved by you, we used to share it with you, and then you had your feedback. So I think email drafting is something that I've learned at MCO totally, and I had never considered about the importance of it earlier. Basic email, people as a layman who would write an email to an authority somewhere, they would just start with saying, respected ma'am, sir, this and that happened and ye and go. But I think the basics of it, that how do we actually start those specific lines that we humbly request you to, these hold a lot of importance. And
Lot
uh,
of important.
yes, and I remember the most important keyword of your emails, much obliged. As if,
Absolutely.
sir, you are working for the client and you are telling the client that you are giving us the documents and you are doing a favor to us by doing that. That is how your email
That's what we have.
sounds.
Yeah, and it should be, you have to give the front person the respect. And
Yes,
whichever
sir.
email of mine is important or anyone in our organization is issuing, draft comes, I print it and I check it with a pen.
Yes, sir.
Because email, once you press the button, is gone. Initially, in
Yeah.
our young days, it was all letters printed. So you always used to check manually with a pen. Checking
Yes.
with a pen and checking on computer is totally a different thing.
Yes,
Not
sir.
for the your generation or anything. For us, so every important email I print, I check, and then I confirm. Because
Yes,
with
sir.
the pen, you can discover certain words, whether it should be shall or will or would. That makes a big
Yes,
difference. The
definitely.
day you start appreciating will and would difference and you start changing your drafts, you'll understand, you'll learn the art of communication.
Very rightly said, sir. Thank
Yeah.
you so much, sir. This was, I think,
Thank you.
another insightful session. And it was so great to have you again. Next session में हम लोग drafting and researching, we'll talk about those things. We're really looking forward to learn a lot from you, and I hope you guys all are also learning from sir. And do mention in the feedback in the comment box below that what are you really understanding. Do you have any questions? Sir suggested me, like we were talking, and in the last video, sir mentioned that we can keep a separate session where we can take all the queries that come out through the series. So in case you have any queries, mention them down in the comment box and we'll create a separate session for that and we'll deal with those things. Thank you so much, sir, for being a part of this
Thank you,
series.
Ayushi. Thank you, Ayushi. Be safe
Okay.
and enjoy.
Yes, sir, you
Thank you.
too. Thank you.
Thank you.